So, Patty, this would be a good time to move on to mistake number two,
Yes.
that I think is very common at every stage of a business, but also at startup stage, which is not sharing business context with everybody on the team. Why do you feel so powerfully about this?
Part of it for me personally was I wasn't ever really exposed to it, and I found it really interesting. And so, partly because, when you're making your business up, it's fun, right? I mean, it's interesting and fun. So, don't hire anybody who can't read a profit and loss statement. Just don't, right? I remember in the first .com bus, I'm interviewing somebody, and she's like, okay. You can have profit and revenue. Uh-huh. But you can't have one without the other. But I always forget which one comes first. This was not a completely stupid person, but this person was.
I think I was that person once.
No, but it's like, no, see, like you can't have profit without revenue because like revenue is like the gas that goes in the engine and won't really go. But those are simple things that everybody should be able to understand. And if they don't, so here's another thing. When I'm looking at you, and I say, God, Yaniv, I mean, I swear to God, this guy is just fucking clueless, right? I see the bubble over your head. I'm like, he doesn't know what the hell he's talking about, right? Close your eyes and count to 10 and say to yourself, maybe he is. Maybe he just doesn't know. Maybe he doesn't know the difference between profit and revenue because no one's ever told him. Now, if I've told you 5 times and you still go, I don't really understand, then, but I'm saying that's what we did. We just shared that information, assuming that everybody was interested in it. And the more people know about how the machine works, the more they can tweak the machine. So I'm consulting to Warby Parker. This is in my book, right? And Warby Parker, the glasses guys, I wear them all the time, right? They're really upset because they've moved to this is very, 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 very early on for them. They moved to a new place. They can't have their customer service people with them. They're feeling really bad about it. And I say to the CEO, I heard that you're kind of an honest guy, but I think you've been lying to your customer service people. And he's like, what do you mean? And I said, because I heard from your recruiters that they tell everybody applying for the job, as Neil Blumenthal says, you can join in customer service and you'll have a fully formed career here for the rest of your life. He's like, they still say that? I'm like, yeah, it's a big fat lie, right? I mean, how many people have gone from customer service to marketing? Because everybody wants to go into marketing. How hard can that be, right? So he says, yeah, I should go talk to them. I make them feel better. I'm like, no, you need to send the CFO. And the CFO needs to say to them, look, here's what the per customer cost to market to a brand new customer is, right? In between advertising and ads, and it costs us $20 a customer to get a new customer. If the customer hangs up from a conversation with you and says to their next door neighbor, I love my Warby Parker glasses, you should really try it. It's the best. Those people are amazing. And they buy their glasses from you, you just put $20 on the bottom line. That's your job, right? Your job isn't dealing with the whiny, crappy customers. Your job is my point is they need to know how much it costs to market to a new person. They need to know that they actually contribute to the P&L directly from the work that they do. And so does everybody.
When we talk about sharing context with everyone, I think it's easy to look at that in a two-dimensional way and say like, hey, here's our business priorities and here's what our investors are asking for and all this kind of stuff. What you're talking about is sharing the context about how that division contributes to the business in a serious way. But I think what you're also talking about is having a broader sense, a deeper sense, a more ambitious sense of how a department might be contributing than what might be obvious on the surface, right? So people think of customer service as a necessary evil cost center. You're saying there's a deeper context there as well, which is you are part of driving the brand promise. You're part of delivering marketing in a way.
Absolutely. And oh, by the way, you just talked about departments and different teams, right? The other thing you must do with context is when you walk down and you overhear somebody go, yeah, the marketing people, they're just a bunch of idiots, right? It's like, all right, when's the last time you talked to somebody in marketing and asked them about this situation? Again, that's like, if they appear to be clueless, maybe they are.
I feel seen and targeted here, Patty, because I've been that person. I've been the person who didn't really understand what revenue was. I've been the person who said marketing are a bunch of idiots. Yep. And because I started my career at Google for 10 years, right? And so when you're in that big company, it's so easy to get siloed off and cut off from the underlying context of the business.
Which is why we do startups. It's the fun we have. If you've got a startup and you have people that feel like they're in a siloed department, you are screwing it up. Okay. I mean, everybody should
Yep.
feel like their arm, just like, I mean, I hate to do the metaphor. It's like if you're a halfback, then you're not going to shoot goals. Okay, that's not your job, right? But you need to understand what it takes for everybody work together in order for the team to make a goal and what that goal is and how it's measured. And are you playing soccer or are you playing baseball or are you playing football, right? I mean, so that's part of the context too, is not just how you are doing, but how the whole world of what you're making looks like.
The most obvious version of this is the leadership team sharing all the context with the business and departments sharing context in all hands and being transparent about what they're doing. But I love that you're taking this further, Patty, and you're saying, don't just give them context, give them religion about how their role is affecting the mission of the company, much deeper and broader than they would have imagined, and then giving them permission and maybe even the mandate to dig into other departments.
It's not someone else's business. It's yours too.
That's right. That's right.
And I mean, these are things that I want to teach all of you as leaders, right? You don't have to do this. You don't have to be the conduit, right? So one of my things is when somebody comes and wants to complain about their manager, I let them go until they can't talk anymore. Oh, God, what an asshole. Oh, my God, that must have been terrible. Oh, Jesus. And then what happened? Oh, my God. What did he say when you told him that? Right. Well, I can't possibly tell him that. I'm like, well, you just told me. You seem to find enough words to tell me all about it. Probably wouldn't want to go talk to Chris with this particular tone of voice. And I can help you do that, but I won't do it for you. And in the same vein, when somebody on the team is like, those idiots over there, I don't know what the fuck they're doing over there, is like, okay, who in the room is going to go ask? Or who do you know that can come to the team and explain to us what they're up to and why?
Again, this is not now just about empowering people to do their job with full context. You're now also drawing down the temperature or eliminating the need for office politics. Now it's no longer a gossip game and a bitching game. It's now a, hey, go have a radically candid conversation with that person and go figure out what the hell's going on.
You know, Chris, one of my least favorite words is empowerment. You just said it, so I'll go ahead and jump in and tell you. Here's why I hate the word. As if we've got a magic wand. You're empowered. There you go. You can go talk to him now because I empowered you. It's like
Absolutely, yeah.
people walk in the door with power. The reason why we even bring that word up is because we take it away. So whenever you as a leader feel like you need to empower somebody, try and step back and go, what is it that's keeping them from doing it themselves? And it could be 10 years at Google.
We have to say, it's not that you empower them, it's you avoid disempowering them
No,
through your attitude.
no, that's my whole lot. You know, I'm supposed to be this big innovator in my field, right? Oh, Patty, she's the guru of HR. She's reinvented it. You know, I did all that. I didn't do anything radical. Here's what I did that was radical. I stopped doing stupid stuff that doesn't matter. I just stopped. Why do we do this thing that everybody on God's earth does? Does it make any sense? Does it move the business forward? Does it make a customer happy? Does it increase our profit margins? And does it allow people to do their best work? And if I'm asking somebody who I'm paying $250,000 a year to go ask somebody in finance for permission to spend $5,000 when all the person in finance adds to the equation is, you know, oh, well, that's $5,012. You can't do that. They're going to spend their brain power figuring out how to work around somebody who doesn't know what they're doing in the finance organization rather than solving the problem we need to solve for the, I mean, it's just like, what an utter waste of time for everybody. Now, that doesn't mean, back to context, that I don't believe in budgets. I do. I think budgeting is a really good exercise. It's a wish list, kind of. It's like, how do we want to make our operating parameters? How do we want to operate during this? And oh, by the way, when something changes, do we have permission to go, you know what? I budgeted this for X, and the truth is, I don't think I need it. So since we got that money, who else could use it? I mean, that kind of selflessness in leaders, when employees see that and hear those stories, that empowers them.
You've just described a lot of your philosophy there, and many of the dysfunctions of an organization, especially as it grows, can be thought of in terms of principal-agent misalignment, right? There's this idea of the principal-agent conflict where you have the actual capital, the actual business as a principal, and all the employees are agents trying to enact the will of the business, but you often get a divergence. And I think what you're trying to do with your philosophy is to make everybody into a principal. You give them the context, you educate them, you make sure that you don't take away their power. You make sure they understand where they fit in so that they're not thinking about themselves as, okay, I am me trying to manage my career and trying to guess what's right. The best way to get ahead in this company, or the best way to succeed in this company, I should say, rather than get ahead, is to understand what the business needs from me and to execute that to the best of my ability.
Yeah. And oh, by the way, if you do that, you will get ahead.
Or eventually you become redundant, right? Like you said, you do yourself out of a job. And one of the things that you talk about is to be a good place to be from.
Yeah.
So what you should feel is if you do yourself out of a job by being so good, or simply because the context changes, you're like, that's great. I've got this on my CV. I'm going to move on to the next phase of my career.
When I left the company was transitioning into becoming a movie studio, right? Original content. That's not my forte. I'm a Silicon Valley geek. I'm not somebody who's going to figure out, is Shonda Rhimes the right person to create Orange is the New Black? Some people can stay a long time because they're really good at being flexible as the company changes. I've been in a million rooms where we've tried to figure out who to promote and who not to promote. You go, oh, shoot, this is a big problem. Who can do that? You know, Chris was really good at that. Remember we had that thing and he just sort of jumped up and he figured it out and we didn't really notice until after it was done. How about him?
Patty, I love that every time you have something good to say about this virtual employee that you point to me, I feel for some reason.
Oh, no, that's okay. Actually, right after this call, I'm gonna fire Chris, so it's all good.